For these delicious no meat nuggets, you're gonna need 2 boxes of firm tofu. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to clean the exterior with soap, because when I cut into the packaging, I don't want any bacteria going into my tofu. So I'm gonna cut this over my sink, draining all the liquid out. Removing the wrapper. And then I'm going to squeeze some of this extra liquid out. Because if I don't, it's not going to have the right consistency. And wet tofu is pretty disgusting if you've tried it. All right, so I've got my press. I'm using this one. I'll put the link to the one I have below. And all I'm going to do is make sure this is nice and wide. Put one block in the middle here. Make sure it's centered so it's all pressed evenly. And then squeeze this just gently and then just tighten this up. So I'm going to let this sit for about an hour. 30 minutes is probably good. And then I'll just check it every so often and tighten this just a little more. And then at the end of 30 minutes to an hour, you will see all the liquid that comes out. It's pretty surprising. All right, you don't want to tighten it too much where it's just squeezing out right now, but you can already see some of the liquid is draining out. So we'll come back in about 40 minutes to an hour, and I'll show you what the tofu is supposed to look like after it's pressed. I've actually had it pressed for a couple of hours, but you can see, look at all this liquid. So I'm just gonna toss out the liquid. And I'm going to remove the pressed tofu from the tofu press. This press seems to be the best one. All right, and look at this. So you could see there's a little bit of moisture on there. So I'm just going to take a paper towel and cover and press all 4 sides as gently to get off that extra water. And now I can crumble it. And you can see how it looks crumbled, and you can crumble it any way you want. So I'll show you from the inside how it's pretty dry, and then I'll just break it to different sections, and then I just keep breaking it until they are the sizes and the pieces that I like. And I do like big pieces and little pieces. So, and if you taste it now, it tastes like nothing. It's just really dry and crumbly, but it has the texture that we really are used to and that we like from chicken. And so I've got 2 blocks right here, and then I'm going to toss it with coconut aminos, and that is a soy sauce alternative, and I like it so much better than soy sauce because soy sauce is extremely salty, and I just don't really like the flavor, just plain salt. I like the coconut aminos because it's kind of like a Hawaiian flavor. It's sweet and salty. Some people say it has a umami flavor. I'm really not sure what that means. But and there's lower salt if you want to reduce your salt intake. So I'm going to put about 1/4 cup, and then I'm just going to mix this until it's coated the way I like it. So I like some pieces to be coated a lot, like this piece, and then some not so much like this, because if I coat it too much, it's just a little too salty. So after I do this, after it's all coated or mostly coated, then I'm going to crumble it onto a parchment-lined baking sheet. And to get these edges from curling up too much and sticking down, I just put a little bit of water on the bottom of the baking sheet. Right. Just gonna crumble it onto parchment paper, and some of the coconut aminos just drizzled right down, which is great. So I don't have to use too much. And sometimes you might want to, I tell people, taste it, because some people like it more salty. So you might want to just try a bite. You can always add more coconut aminos later. All right, sprinkling more on. And you don't have to be too perfect about it. Heck, just a bit on there. And I'm going to put this in my oven, and I'm going to air fry it for 15 minutes. And that will make it, these little pieces, super crispy, and it's going to crisp up the outside and have that nice little meaty texture on the inside. All right, I'll see you in 15 minutes. This is what it looks like out of the oven. Now, after 15 minutes, I checked it, and it wasn't as crispy as I like it. So I put it in for another 5 minutes. And normally it's fine, but today's a cold day, so maybe it just took longer. So my oven has air fry, and air fries at 400 degrees. So I've got bigger pieces like this. And you could see the inside, how it kind of looks like chicken. Crispy on the outside, as if it's fried, and it's softer on the inside, just like I like it. So now I add my seasonings. So I'm going to add a little bit of smoked paprika, or a lot, depending on how smoky you like it. Garlic powder, onion powder, and some more coconut aminos. A little bit of saltiness, needs a little more of that sweetness. Using my spatula, and I was snacking on it, so there's more, or I should say there's less than there was. All right, let's try it. Bigger piece. So good. Tastes like fried chicken, but not fatty. That piece was extra good because it had a little more of the aminos on it. Let's take a smaller piece. Oh goodness. How do I pick? All right. See this one? Smaller. Crispier. So good. So it's hard to stop eating this because it's so tasty. And my husband's like, save some for me, would ya? And you can use the same technique to make your scrambled, quote, eggs, unquote. And you would just add hot sauce and serve it with your roasted potatoes. And check out my air fried potatoes recipe. I'll link that to the end. I've got a really delicious taquitos recipe. It's gluten-free. I use corn tortillas, no oil. Put it in a glass dish. Save it for later. I'm gonna cover it, and I'm gonna store it in the refrigerator. It's best eaten when it's warm. So we'll add this to, we'll make a batch, and then we'll add it to the food that we're making. It's toward the end, and then just add that and warm it up with that food. But I mean, it's good cold, it's good by itself. Yeah. I've never tried reheating it in the microwave, but I probably wouldn't do that because it might make it soft, and I really like the crispiness of it. Hope to see you soon.